Hey, how you doing everyone? Cat Dad Things here, and today we've got an important, big update for the Lost Relics game. It seems like the dev has shown a lot of love to the community because this update is pretty awesome. As you can see on the menu already, they've changed the interface for your equipment, how things work. You actually have loadouts now, which is pretty cool. I mean, I haven't really progressed far enough into the game yet to be able to use loadouts effectively, but I can imagine for the premium players and the veteran players that loadouts come in quite nicely, so that's pretty cool. I am able to equip my pet also, which is awesome. They have this new system too that it looks like when you use your daily rewards. They kind of changed it to something called goals. Admittedly, I do think that in the past it was easier, of course, to use like the daily reward system. At least it was to get it. You did a dungeon, you got your daily reward. Simple as that. It can be the lowest tier dungeon if you want. It really didn't. But now with the goals thing, you do have to meet some requirements to get this wheel that you spin. It's this whole thing, but the rewards actually, I mean, of course, if you land on the really rare stuff, it will be a lot nicer. But there's some pretty big changes too, like to combat, for example. Like you can't use your bow infinitely anymore, because before you used to be able to just use it and you had your energy for your power shots or whatever, and that was it. But now you actually have arrows. So that can kind of cause quite a concern, but I mean, at the same time, this is supposed to be a harder game. This isn't supposed to be a game that you're just breezing through and it's easy. The idea is to put some difficulty behind it, because like when you go through the dungeons, if you die, you lose everything in your inventory that's virtual. Anything that's blockchain, of course, you keep, but anything that's not, you will drop upon death. I did notice too that they opened up the crafting on the basic tier for everything. Beforehand, if I remember correctly, you couldn't access certain crafting if you weren't a premium player. But now you can do all of the crafting, except it negates you at a certain point. So I think you get through like the basic tier of everything. That's just open to everyone. And of course, if you want more, you got to be a premium player, which I think is fair, especially if you ever, I don't know, if you ever risk it all and you fall in the dumps and you lose everything. It's like, well, where are you supposed to go? You can still get the basic stuff, so that's not too shabby. We had some updates also in the map on the outside. There's some extra things that you can do now. I did notice like there's little drops throughout town that you click on, you get little items. If that was a thing before, I didn't notice, but this is also an update, so now I do notice it. But I do like what they have been doing with it. They seem to be updating the graphics, and of course the dungeons, they definitely did a lot with that. So let's move on over to the dungeons so we can check out all the updates that happen with that. Alright y'all, drip drip, you know what it is. We are back in the dungeons now, going at it and trying to get some big ol' loots. So first things first, if you do like this content, please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it does help out the channel, and I'll keep doing these updates in the future. Leave a comment too what you thought of this update, because I kind of like it actually. Again, like I mentioned before, it does bring more of a hardcore feel to the game, into the environment. Like the map, for example, you can't read it as well as you did earlier. Like it does leave you kind of more in the dark. At least with this dungeon. I only did this dungeon so far, so this is all I know. But with the map reading, it's a little less clear. That's kind of okay. Kind of like that. The mobs, they just kind of sprout out of the ground now. Seems like all of the mobs, at least in this dungeon, so leaves you a little less prepared. As I mentioned before, bows have infinite ammo, so I did kind of go for the sword in this case. The resource nodes, I feel they're a lot more plentiful in this map, which is a nice touch. You get a lot more chances to get some good loots, because as we know, the good loots are with a lot of the resources. It did reset some of my key bindings, so I did have to kind of go through them, which was a little annoying because I had to, like, I don't know, maybe I'm a dum and I just couldn't figure it out, but I had to go through it several times. Anyway, continuing on. So something about the difficulty increasing is, I know now that your health and your energy, for example, like your energy always had to regen when you used it, right? It does take more energy to do a swing with your melee weapon, so you have to wait longer for it to regen. But your health, whenever you would leave the dungeon, your health and energy would just reset, right? And be full. When you actually leave the dungeon, at whatever state you are, let's say you're half HP, half energy, that would regenerate when you're back into the town. So you can't just go back to back dungeons. I mean, you could if you have the right healing items and things like that, but you would have less health entering into it. So that is an interesting mechanic that they added to the game. Again, it does increase the difficulty, but of course for free players like myself, for poor peoples, or people who are just trying to try the game, it does increase the level of difficulty. I did bring some fish, some kind of regeneration, and a town scroll portal, which I highly recommend, especially if you're trying this for the first time or trying out this update and you haven't played in a little bit. Get that portal scroll because you don't want to lose your stuffs. I didn't really have much of a need to go for fish in this first round of going through this new dungeon setup, but I like the look of it. I like the graphics. I mean, clearly the developer truly loves this game and it's a passion product for them, so I think it's worth at least trying it out because, again, it is free. You don't have to pay for anything. It is free if you can get signed in and you can actually get into the game itself. I happened to buy the little puppy right there. I bought that with my own money because I felt, it's given me some entertainment. It's given me some content to post about. So I felt okay supporting. I felt, hey, that's fair enough. I got at least some entertainment out of it, and entertainment is worth money to some people. So I did a little contribution, and maybe it'll be worth something someday because I can sell it if I want to. Maybe not. But at this point, it wasn't a bad deal for me. So yeah, I like the new layout. You do have to be a little bit more careful when you're fighting, especially in melee, because I've always done bows. I'm going to try bows and see if it's truly cost effective to just buy the arrows and just kind of go with that, or if you really do have to stick to like maybe using more foods or fishes or pots and using a big weapon, big melee weapon for the power swings. I don't know, but I like this so far. So I'm enjoying the update. There are a few bugs, let's say. When I did try to get into the dungeon for the first time, the game froze and it crashed, and it freaked me out because I thought for sure it would register me going to the dungeon and then it would register me as leaving, and when you do that, it's basically like a death. You lose everything. So I freaked out, logged back in. It was fine. The game didn't put me through to the dungeon, so I didn't lose everything. That was nice, but it did crash. So there are some bugs, some glitches that they have in this. As you will see, when I started going through this specific dungeon far enough, it got to a point where everything just super slowed down, and I was thinking to myself like, oh crap, is this my computer? But I just I found the portal luckily beforehand, not too long, so I went to the portal, got out of there, and the game immediately picked back up. It was fine. So truly was something going on with that specific dungeon. Some bugs, some glitches, some things that they have to fix, performance issues, and that's fine. I mean, it was a pretty big update. It's a single developer as far as I know. I think it's just one developer. I could be wrong though, but either way, a small team at the very least, and for what they're putting together and what they're doing, it's a solid project. There will be bugs, but that's okay because they fix them. They really care. So I happened to go through another dungeon just fine. Nothing happened to me in there. Was a little bit more challenging, but overall I would say it's a very solid update. I'm excited to get my hands in there and really try out bows, for example, get into more crafting because it's now available to me, and to just see what else the good treasures that I can find in this game, if I can get any good drops, thankfully or hopefully. So we'll see how that works. And yeah, so if you guys want to check this game out, guys and gals, if you're out there and you're looking for a blockchain game to try, so far this hasn't really done me dirty at all. It's entertaining for what it is. If you invest a lot of money into your items and gear, yes, you're going to go a lot farther, a lot faster, and probably get a way better drops. But not all of us can afford that, or not all of us are convinced and think it's trustworthy yet. I haven't been given any reason not to trust this game. I'm still going to keep going for the free-to-play side so I can show people, yes, you can enjoy it, and I'm still wondering, can I actually get some decent stuff out of this game just playing it for free? My next video, I will feature more things I haven't showed in this one, and I'll do some more loot opening as well, because this one I just kind of wanted to showcase the update. So thanks again for watching. I appreciate you, appreciate everything that you do. Stay awesome, stay saucy, and I'll see you in the next one, hopefully. Bye-bye.